Hi, it's Nadia and Maya, and we're going to show you how to make lasagna. Also, it's easier to use sauces like from the shop, but we're going to show you how to make, well, Maya's going to show you how to make proper ones. So, let's start. So, I'm going to start off by chopping and frying some onions. Maya's going to do that.
You start off by cutting both ends of the onion off and then just peeling it like you normally would, but this can take a bit of time. Then you cut the onion in half and put it on the flat side. Then you go along it like that into thinnish slices. Careful not to cut yourself, and then twist it round and cut the other way. So then you've got cubes. So then you just do that for the rest of the onion. So in the recipe it says you only used one onion, but we need to feed 4 of us, so we're gonna double the recipe. So now once that's chopped up, you want to add your oil, your sunflower oil to the pan and the onions. And then you just heat that up for a minute or two until it starts to sizzle.
So I'm going to cut some carrot, and then we can put in some frozen peas and tin sweet corn, because then you just chop everything up small enough and it works quite well. So I'm going to chop off the top and bottom of the carrots and then wash them. Time to wash them.
Okay, so now the onion's sizzling, you want to add in the mint and just stir it to make sure it's broken up.
Okay, so I'm just going to cut the carrot like in half. I'm also going to give my dog some carrot so that she stops whining at me, but I'm going to do this first. So I'm going to cut it in half like lengthwise. And then cut, well, now it's in 2 halves, I'm going to cut each of them in half again lengthwise, so you end up with little quarters, because you don't want like really big chunks of carrot in the lasagna. It just doesn't seem right. Then when I've done that, I'm just going to thinly slice everything. Okay, so the carrot is now cut, and just need to check on the mince.
So another sauce that you need to do with your lasagna is the white sauce for when you're layering it up. So you measure the ingredients out first, which is what I need to do now. Okay, so now that I've measured that out, you add it to another pot, a different pot.
Mine is warming up 50 grams of butter in a pot to start the white sauce. So that needs to melt.
And then you add 50 grams of plain flour to that once it's completely melted. We can start preparing 500 millilitres of milk to add to that once the butter and the flour is combined.
So now my mince is pretty much cooked, so I'm going to put the carrots in, and then I'm going to go find some frozen peas. Okay, so my meat's pretty much done, so I'm going to add in the peas first because they need to defrost. Otherwise you just have a really cold lasagna sauce and that's not great when it goes into the oven. Lots of our peas are all stuck together because they've been in the freezer.
So now all of the milk is in, you need to keep whisking this because, yeah, you don't want clumps in it. And it takes about 10 or 15 minutes, I think.
Okay, so I'm going to wait for my peas to defrost and then I'm going to put some tin sweet on in.
A bit more warming, but then you add the sauce. So we're going to make our own sauce. You make the sauce first, so you add the tin tomatoes, tomato puree, and if you boil the kettle now while you're waiting, so then you can add your vegetable stock cube into it and it will dissolve.
Okay, this really involves blending now. So I'm going to put in a tin of chopped tomatoes, some tomato puree first. One tin of tomato puree.
I need to make the stock now. Then we need to start layering up. So
I'm gonna go get a dish to put this in.
okay, so first, when it's done, you add in the mint sauce first. Then you layer it with these pasta sheets. That's what we're using until it make sure it covers all of it. And then you spoon some of the white sauce on top of it.
I'm going to take a big spoon and start layering it. So for this bowl I'm going to aim to do about 3 layers because that's how much fits in it. So get rid of that. Okay, so I'm going to split this into roughly thirds. I might not get 3 layers out of it, but we'll see. So the bottom layer usually ends up being a bit thinner because I'm not very good at telling how much a third of the bowl is. And then the rest you just split between the other 2 layers. Okay, so that's the first layer. Then you need to get your pasta sheets and make them fit the bowl. This is sort of where it gets a bit tricky because you've got to break them. But it's fine, I'll figure out how I'm going to do this. So you just break it and put it into corners.
Try and make sure there's no overlapping bits of the pasta or else it won't cook evenly and it'll be undercooked. So
You don't really want chewy pasta.
Apart from the top layer.
Which you want to be crispy. Oh, have we got grated cheese?
Yeah, I think so.
That's mostly not overlapping. Oh well, whatever. Okay, so now I'm going to get the box. I'm going to get this and turn it off. And stir that again. Okay, now the white sauce is really, really hot, so don't burn yourself.
But you use...
spoon.
Yeah. And then you can layer it out using a spatula or the back of a spoon.
I'm just going to use this spoon because I can't find the spoon that I want. So I'm going to get rid of that because that's quite hot. And then That should be the lasagna done. Also, if you want, you can put in a garlic bread. I'll put that in about 15 minutes before it's done, so we can cook that. Hi, I'm Nadia, and today I'm going to be making brownies for dessert. Okay, so, well, might as well just start. Well, you need to make sure you've washed your hands. I'm going to go do that first. Busy. Okay, so that's 200 grams of chocolate. Now I just need 175 grams of butter. Right, so once this is in your bowl, you're going to need to put it over a pot of the boiling water. So I need to go get a pot. Put it on about a medium heat, and then boiling water in. About half full's usually fine. So now I'm going to grease my tins. Well, tin. About a 20 centimetre square tin usually works best. And my bottom, well, the bottom of it pops out. Put my leftover butter on there, and well, you need to fully grease the tin, especially the corners, because otherwise it's really, really difficult to get out afterwards. And now check on your chocolate and butter to make sure it's not burning. So, wooden spoon, just stir it, see how much has melted. You want it all to melt fully. I do apologise for the background noise. Okay, now that this is done, I'm going to put the sugar in. So, 320, really bad with numbers, 325 grams of sugar. And you can mix it in with a whisk, so just like low speed and until it's all mixed together, but I usually just stir it in by hand because it's easier and makes less stuff to clean up afterwards. Still with a wooden spoon. Safe. And it is 130 grams of plain flour. Although the recipe doesn't say to add baking powder, I usually just add it in so my brownies actually rise and stay like that high instead of just pancake, like chocolate pancakes. But you can do whatever, doesn't really matter. I'll just sieve that in. So now, oh, that's busy. Now this should stop moving, should look a bit like that. So it's more like cookie dough now. Yeah, it's a bit more solid. Okay, next, what am I put in? Eggs. So it takes 3 eggs. Careful when you crack it in so you don't get shells in the bowl. No one wants to eat eggshells. Now it's all in, and there we go. It's gone gloopy. I'm gonna get her to hold the bowl up so I don't get chocolate mixture all over the kitchen. So if you just tilt it over, right, and then just put it all in the bowl.
Use a spatula if you can't get it all out.
I'm gonna go get a spatula. It should be nearly warm, and then it cooks at about 170 for 35 minutes. It's probably just good to keep checking it regularly after 30 minutes so that you don't burn anything. So my oven's warm, and then I'll put a timer on for 35 minutes. The brownies are pretty much done now. The timer's about to go off. So you want them to be gooey but not too gooey, so... I mean, you want them to... It's hard to explain. You want them to be cooked, but you don't want them to be really solid. Brownies. we go, they're done, with a nice hole in the middle. So now I'm just gonna, well, wait for them to cool, take out the tin, let it cool a bit more on a rack, and then cut it up into pieces and eat it. Yeah, so brownies are done. Have fun.